Anime online games are video games based on or inspired by popular anime and manga series. These games can range from action-packed fighting games to strategy games and RPGs, and often feature beloved characters and worlds from the anime and manga series. Final Fantasy XIV failed miserably, so A Realm Reborn was faced with the most difficult task: to restore a pretty tarnished reputation. And Yoshida Naoki's team succeeded quite well, which is why the project heads our top. If you played FF14, then you probably remember that it all ended with the expectation of a meteorite falling, threatening to smash the world to smithereens. In fact, it happened because A Realm Reborn was created from scratch. The terrain has become much more diverse, from FF14 left only a few little things as a tribute to its predecessor. The first 10 levels will have to mostly run on quests. Of course, you are strong and beautiful, which you are constantly reminded of. But there are thousands of them, so already at the 10th level, you will be taught how to work in a team in dungeons, which is important not only for leveling, but also for the plot. At the same stage of development, you can change the class if the initial choice no longer seems right to you. Tira. At one time, this MMORPG in the classic Korean style became famous for being one of the first AAA projects of the genre to abandon the usual system of target acquisition in battle. So it is thanks to Tira that a whole segment of high-quality MMOs with non-target combat has appeared these days. And even if these merits are now forgotten and the game as a whole does not look so bright and innovative, TRA still has something to surprise even the most sophisticated fan of anime online RPGs. One of these features is pathetic castles in the air, which can become the headquarters of your guild. True, for this, you will either have to participate in clan battles or defeat epic raid bosses. Blade and Soul. Korean MMORPG Blade and Soul immediately attracted those who love to contemplate the beautiful. The graphics in B and S are really good. The style is also well developed and in many ways reminiscent of manga. Here you have cute boys flapping their eyelashes, not very far removed from girls, and harsh warriors playing with unrealistic mountains of muscles and buxom beauties, whose frankness of attire seems to know no bounds. However, you could choose clothes in Blade and Soul based solely on your taste, and not on the characteristics, since they simply do not exist. Bonuses give only weapons and accessories, so you can play not only a warrior, but also a stylist. You are given a choice of 4 races and 9 classes. Among the latter, there are both ranged and melee warriors quite familiar to a fan of the genre, and very funny ones. For example, a summoning master can enlist the help of a small fluffy fiend, a cute cat that tears enemies to shreds. As for the quests, everything is quite prosaic. You cannot even read, but just run where they say. But the battles are really dynamic and spectacular. In 2021, the project will be restarted on UE4. The game will get a new class, new dungeon, and fighting style. Ragnarok Online. In the world of Rune Midgard, it was a time of strife between the gods, humans, and demons. Battle-weary from the long war's carnage, the factions entered into an uneasy truce. The truce grew into a fragile peace that lasted for 1,000 years. With the Ragnarok threatening to destroy Rune Midgard, adventurers are needed to step up and battle against the forces of chaos. Join your friends in exploring the world and build your own legend in Raro. Royal Quest. The cult anime MMORPG Ragnarok Online cannot be left alone. In 2015, Kotori released its explicit clone, Royal Quest, without a shadow of hesitation. The local world is huge and open. Monsters roam everywhere, pounce on everything that moves. They can also steal loot. NPCs are not devoid of a sense of humor and are always trying to persuade the player to do something for them. Of course, quite interesting quests come across. Sometimes you even have to think about the moral choice, but still the merciless grind on an industrial scale becomes the basis. Otherwise, everything is as usual: several classes, gradual leveling, dungeons, showdowns in duels, and guild battles. All this is wrapped in a pretty nice, though not original, wrapper. Tree of Savior. Despite the fact that the Tree of Savior project came out of the same machine as the Ragnarok Online MMORPG Anime, and was even initially known as R1, the result was not a clone of the legendary RO, but rather an ideological successor. However, one should not expect something fundamentally new. If you have caught the peak of Ragnarok Online's popularity and sometimes nostalgic for these times with a smile, then in Tree of Savior the general style, the isometric camera, will immediately catch your eye. But the plot, of course, is different in the game. Something terrible happened in the fairyland. The sacred tree growing in the center of the capital began to destroy everything that its shoots could reach, turning into bloodthirsty monsters. Now the connection with the gods has been lost, and the world is in danger of catastrophe. Kritika Reboot. MMO Action offers gamers to plunge into the world of spectacular and dynamic battles in the style of epic anime. Here you will find growth swords, super guns, mind-blowing acrobatics, crazy hairstyles and costumes, and other must-have attributes of the genre. As part of a team, you have to go to clear dangerous dungeons, and the faster your party completely clears the dungeon, the more generous the reward for it will be. At the end of each of the dungeons, a gigantic raid boss awaits you, the battle against which will be an excellent test of your reaction and understanding of local game mechanics. Kurt Spell. This sessional action game features team battles against epic bosses, as well as many PvE battle formats. The basis of local combat is the filigree execution of combos unique for each class and the timely avoidance of enemy attacks. A unique feature of the game is the class system, which is called Karma here. All of them are divided into two types. Breaker breaks the enemy's armor and has good defense, but does little direct damage, and Slayer, a lot of damage, little armor, and HP, bad damage to armor. You can take any two karmas with you into battle, and you can switch between them right in the middle of the battle. Nostale, a free-to-play client-based MMORPG that takes players to the enchanting Eastmile Island. Controlling a hero with a top view, the gamer will have to go on a monster hunt, complete a series of intriguing tasks, and team up with other users. Most of the activities fit the genre, but Nostale has its own peculiarities. For example, the possibility of choosing a profession and its further development. The player can join a family, similar to a clan, and fight very strong monsters. Another highlight is the transformation into a new form with the help of specialized specialist cards. To put it simply, you can additionally get one more class in addition to the main one. My Pocket Stars, Pokémon in the Anime World. In this browser game, gamers are invited to assemble their own team of hundreds of different pets. Acting as a trainer, the player will take care of and upgrade their animals, and together with them will go to explore the mysterious dungeons in which monsters are hiding. The user often has to interact with other gamers, team up, or measure strength in the arena. A game with bright graphics will appeal to both anime lovers and those who encounter this style for the first time. Sword Art Online series. The series includes two browser games based on the cult anime Sword Art Online. Its original plot is a cheat for game developers. The bottom line is that the main character enters the virtual world of MMORPG along with other guys. Death in him means death in reality, so he is forced to fight monsters, level up, and team up with other comrades in misfortune. And therefore, the developers did not even have to think about how to interpret Sword Art Online in the form of a computer game. All-inclusive, PvE, PvP, dozens of familiar characters, open world, clan system, strong bosses, and so on. Bleach Online. We continue our march through online games based on popular anime, and this time Bleach is on stage. The original series has 366 episodes, and those who have mastered them will be able to fully enjoy the gameplay. In the story, the player assumes the role of a schoolboy Ichigo, who, endowed with the powers of the gods of death, is forced to fight evil spirits and protect ordinary people. In Bleach Online, the player will have to assemble a team of the same atypical schoolchildren and take part in numerous battles in which the placement of the squad plays a paramount role. The events of the game repeat the anime series, and in fact, Bleach Online is more of an interactive cartoon than a full-fledged MMORPG. One Piece: Pirate Warriors 4. Luckily, anime-based games are not limited to browser-based games, but online is a must-have PvP in arenas. One Piece: Pirate Warriors 4 is a full AAA title with quirky graphics and whirlwind gameplay inspired by the battles from Dynasty Warriors. In the role of Luffy, the player will have to travel the world of One Piece and fight against sworn enemies, enlisting the support of loyal allies in the face of real players. The highlight of One Piece, Pirate Warriors 4, is dynamic battles in which the player simultaneously fights against dozens of opponents. The highlight of One Piece, Pirate Warriors 4, is dynamic battles in which the player simultaneously fights against dozens of opponents. True, they will not cause difficulties, but the bosses will make the gamer sweat a lot. My Hero Wants Justice 2. The second part of the 3D fighting game based on the My Hero Academia universe has got the long-awaited multiplayer. In the game, you can choose one of the heroes or villains, who you could see throughout the anime, and try to emerge victorious in a hot duel or group battle. In battles, players will constantly use abilities that are accompanied by an explosion of bright special effects. Closers. Have you ever imagined, as a schoolboy, that you would suddenly have some kind of superpower? Thanks to it, you no longer have to sit in boring lessons, because now you automatically become cooler than all your classmates combined, and your task is much more global than memorizing a paragraph from a textbook. If yes, then welcome to Closers. This is the kind of student you have to manage. Gone are the days when he hesitated at the blackboard and got discouraged by the amount of homework. He discovered supernatural abilities in himself and attracted the attention of the Soyuz Coalition, which prevents cataclysms and protects humanity from alien invasion. You have to join this organization and, together with the rest of the superheroes, hold back the alien invaders who are planning to attack the Earth in the near future. Elsword. As soon as you find yourself in a new world, you will have to connect to a global mission to save it. Previously, it was empty and lifeless, but suddenly, out of nowhere, the L-Stone fell to the ground and created a miracle. Everything that prevented living beings from appearing here was destroyed, peace and grace reigned. But after centuries of idle, the stone was stolen. In general, you can imagine what it threatens. You have to fight for world peace in the guise of one of the 6 heroes originally proposed. Each of them has its own distinctive features and abilities, some quite familiar to MMORPG veterans, others quite unusual. The gameplay of sophisticated fans of the genre will hardly surprise you. However, the good news is that cool equipment does not solve everything here. In order to show yourself well in battle, you need to jump, dodge, hit in time, not forgetting about combo attacks. Many free-to-play projects sin by imposing a donation, letting the player understand that, without investing his honestly earned money in a shareware game, he will grace his back until the end of his days. In Elsword, of course, there is an opportunity to donate, but this is not so noticeable in the gameplay, and there is no feeling that the developers are forcibly trying to get into your pocket. Aura Kingdom is a very cute and colorful online game in anime style. In addition to an eye-pleasing picture, the project can offer a fairly wide selection of classes, pets, each of which has its own abilities and interesting PvP content. But for those who like to fill in the first number to a living person, it can be boring because there are problems with PvP. There are no large-scale battles as such. The developers decided to get hooked on the project from the first minutes, giving the player the opportunity to taste all the delights of the game at high levels. We are accustomed to the fact that a tutorial is when a character is thrown into the world naked, barefoot, and only able to uncertainly hit a small and harmless monster with a stick. In Aura Kingdom, they approach training in a completely different way. They immediately offer you a cool pumped character, dressed in the latest fashion, and give you a chance to see his abilities in all their glory. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write in the comments. Thanks for watching. Join this channel to get access to perks. Subscribe, watch our other videos, press thumbs up, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.